Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to my Saturday stream. I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic Saturday. Hello there, Mark. Hello, Joe and Sherry. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. It's good to see people here. I was wondering, is anybody going to show up? Because it's been a minute since I have done a stream, and my back is actually hurting me quite bad right now. But I really wanted to talk about this today because I think this is a very important topic. And it's something that I don't think is really talked about regularly. Hey, Insolent Violet, how are you doing, my love? But you may or may not be familiar with the Amway tool scam. So if you're here, let me know if you are familiar with the Amway tool scam. I mean, throw up an emoji. I mean, say yes. I don't know. Something to indicate if you are familiar with it. Hey, Albs, how are you doing, love? Good to see you. Good to see you. And I've got to do something about my little background because it just keeps jumping, and I have not obviously made a new background that just like is continuous. I have another one I can put on. Where is it? Let's try this one and see if it's better. Because the other one is bothering me. And I can always put back my old one too. But it was bothering me. Oh, yep. You got it, Mark Yaeger and Britt, pioneer the tool scam. Yep. There you go. There's you have heard the name, but you don't remember the details. Well, I'm not going to go into like really who started it and give you, I mean, I could. Hey, Jelly Snack. But I have done videos. I did not do one on Brit, and I probably should at some point, but I haven't. But probably he does deserve, his own little, day in the spotlight. But I did one on Fred Harteis and also on Dexter. And I want to say there's one or two others that I have done too, and I don't remember who. But for me, to understand where we are today, I believe very strongly is important for us to know our history, to know what came before, so that we can reflect on what was, to look at what's going on today, and to see how things influenced today from the past, and like what's still kind of hanging on, that maybe it's morphed a bit, as I do believe the tool scam has. You think Harteis was under Bill Britt? I don't remember, Mark, because it's been a minute since I've made those videos and everything, and I'd have to go and dig up my script and all of that. It's been a while, a couple of years, probably 3 or 4 years, honestly. So I got the book by Ruth Carter called Amway Motivational Organizations Behind the Smoke and Mirrors. And it goes over her entire, like, how she got into Amway, the history of Amway. And I'm not going to go into the history of Amway. Actually, if you go to be Business for Home, and if you go to the top earners of all time, the Yaeger group is still there as the number one group, number one person, whatever, of making the most money in MLM. And of course, Teddy Boy will publish anything as long as you pay him. That's a definite pay for play. Hello there, Go-Go. And then the second one is Igor E. Alberts, who I first learned of him from OneCoin, and he originated from Organa Gold, as did a lot of the people who were top bros in OneCoin, which I found. I did a series on them too. So I find looking into the backgrounds of the top people in different organizations to be very, very, very fascinating. I like to know where they were and who they knew, because whenever any of one of these things, like comes into existence, people who are at the top, it's never that they're there because it's by accident and that they just like climb their way up there. It's like it was all designed that way. And I know that sounds kind of odd to some people to like, wait, what a minute, wait, recovering hun, but are you telling me that they actually plan it before it happens? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Hey, Mon Hun, how are you doing, love? Hope you're doing very well. Yaeger's three sons running out. Well, of course, I mean, you got to pass that baton. If you're a criminal, you got to pass it to your sons for them to continue on the same crimes. Because in my opinion, that's what they all do, is like they're created by criminals, they're run by criminals, they're promoted by criminals. That's all they do. Did a detailed video on the tool scam. Yeah, I'm sure that he did. I haven't seen it, but I don't really watch a lot of other creators' videos and stuff because I'm just too busy to do that. But I'm glad that he did do a detailed video about it. And I think it's really good anytime anyone can talk about, because I remember when I was in the middle of my research about Dexter, I think somebody asked another creator about Dexter Yaeger, and somebody was like, well, that's in the past. That doesn't, basically they like poo-pooed Dexter Yaeger as like being irrelevant. And it's like, oh, no. Oh, no. Sweet baby Jesus. No. That man is very relevant because he left an indelible mark upon the entire industry. And it's very important to understand who those people were at the top of Amway during this time period, what they did, and how that continues to influence organizations today. Because if you really start thinking about it, and I'll get into like what the tools are and everything, because I will read that chapter to you, because I'm going to start with chapter 4. Like in terms of Onpassive, they use the tool scam. They use it in terms of the inordinate amount of webinars that are put out. Because there are people that will go to every single damn webinar all day, every day. Now, I don't know what the hell they could possibly be talking about right now because there's not a damn thing going on. And, I just like, it's like, hey, what's going on? Nothing. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, that wraps it up. I mean, that's pretty much it. And so, who cares? I don't really care. They don't have anything new to say. And so anyway, but I'm also going to bring it home too. And I think, Joe, you'll find this interesting. When I first started doing content about MLMs, I came across these Canadian brobots by the name of Darren and Mike. And they have an organization called the Dream Team. And boy, it sure is a dream. Not really, if you know what I mean. It's no dream. It's everyone's nightmare. And they really didn't like the fact that, I was calling their stuff out, because I was able to call out their entire scam and expose the course that they were selling to people. Because you first go to this free webinar, allegedly. It's a free webinar. It's, it's a lead capture. And if you go to that, then they offer you up, oh, you can join you can pay for this course and we'll teach you everything you need to know for an online business, which is a big old bucket of hooey. They don't. And so anyway, I have someone on my team that is helping me out with, the brobots, the Canadian brobots, and, all the jank that they have been doing, because it has evolved over time. And I'm very interested in that. And I'm very interested in, and they're members of Enagic. I haven't made that clear, so sorry. But there's a number of other organizations that do something very similar to what Darren and Mike do, to get people into Enagic as well. And I look at it, it's still the tool scam. It's just done in a slightly different way, in a slightly different medium. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I want you guys to think about it and think about any of the scams you may be familiar with, in the world of MLM. And if it reminds you of anything, put it in the chat. Let me know. And if it reminds you of anything in particular that you know about Onpassive, put it in there. If you remember anything about the robots that I have covered, if you've seen any of that, put it in the chat. If you're like, yeah, okay, I can see where you're going with this. And from everybody who's here, I know Joe remembers my Canadian friends, as he says. So I'm starting with 4, which is, what are the tools? And let me get my water. Because I'm very, very thirsty. Okay. Depending upon one's line of work, a tool could be a pen, a computer, a screwdriver, a paintbrush, a musical instrument, or any number of implements. In the Amway business, tools comprise of 5 basic categories: books, tapes, functions, sales aids, and the newest high-tech communications media. Tools are also referred to as business support materials, or BSMs. And that's something that I absolutely love about Amway, is the secret language. And with any of these organizations, there's always secret language. Think about, I know you guys, a lot of you here, you guys have been following, Onpassive, and you guys are very familiar with a lot of the secret language, the in it, win it, all of that type of stuff. And it just started raining outside. I can hear it coming down. But I do have Chalupa Poopa is laying next to me, and I don't know where Salsa is. I think she's under the fuzzy blanket. So we have BSMs. And is it just me, or does that just kind of sound, dirty? It feels dirty to me. When distributors started creating and distributing their own tools, the Amway business changed dramatically from what DeVos and Van Andel had created. Books. Amway distributors are fond of quoting motivational speaker and author Charlie Tremendous Jones. Where will you be in 5 years depends on the books you read and the people you associate with. Now, doesn't Ash say something similar to that? Because I know in MLM, and it's not just him, I have heard that whole thing about, you are the 5 people that you hang out with. That tells you everything of who you are. So, make sure that you hang out with the 5 best people, or some kind of bullshit like that. Where will you be in 5 years depends on the books you read and the people you associate with. Distributors are strongly encouraged to read, but not just any reading will do. Newspapers and news magazines are out. They're negative, and negative thinking must be banished if we are to succeed. Novels are out. They don't teach success principles. A distributor should only read books which will contribute to his success. This includes anything written by anyone named Yaeger, books by motivational authors like Zig Ziglar, Norman Vincent Peale, or Dennis Waitley, books about business which present the Amway business in a positive light, and personal growth books. Books, according to your sponsor, will help you grow as a person, and that will help your business grow. Bullshit. A lot of bullshit right there. Now, these brobots, these Canadian brobots, Darren and Mike, they want you to purchase a book called The Magic when you get involved with them. And you know why? They wrote a fucking chapter, so they'll get a kickback if you buy the book, The Magic, which I'm hoping to get my little paws on that. And so that, so we can read it, and then I can kind of like laugh at it. Oh, I'm sorry. They did not write a chapter in The Magic. They wrote a chapter in a different book. Okay. They wrote a chapter in a different book. I stand corrected. I have my team member here that knows a lot about them. So anytime I'm being corrected, they're letting me know. They're hanging out in the back, letting me know. Like, nope, girl, you got that part wrong. So I got it wrong. But anyway, they wrote in another book, which I can't wait to be able to read what they wrote, because, it's going to be filled with all the same jank, all the Law of attraction, the power of positive thinking, all that bullshit. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be filled with all of that stuff. And you're right, Joe. No negative thoughts. And isn't that something that you guys have heard a lot spoken? Like, who is that person that oversees Onpassive Nation for Marty? What's her name? Huh. Doesn't really matter. But, she seems to, go on a power trip. And I believe that, the big man himself has said it, as well as, Mr. Man, who created this entire mess called Onpassive, he has said it too. And a bunch of the other, alleged leaders, and I'm using the word leader very loosely for any of that stuff. So on to the next one, tapes, audio tapes, and more recently, audio compact discs. Now, guys, this was written in 1999, so we know it is a little bit behind. Oh, go. I know exactly who it is. I am just, feigning ignorance because I really just don't want to even bother with the name. The Brobrats wrote a chapter in a book called Never Quit on a Bad Day. Oh my gosh. See, that's even better. Never quit on a bad day. I just want to gag right now on that. That's just a stupid name for a book. I can't help myself. I just really can't with that. So again, remember, this is from 1999. So now it makes me think of like podcasts and stuff today. I'm quite sure that there would be podcasts that would be recommended in these days. So audio compact disc, which we will include in the tape category. And I would just like include, podcasts in that tape category as well. Provide information and motivation. You can listen to tapes while driving in your car, shaving, applying makeup, dressing, doing housework, and especially you can listen to tapes while on your way to draw circles. What the hell is draw circles? Tapes get you pumped up and excited about the business. There are teaching tapes and rally tapes. Teaching tapes discuss a specific topic: how to prospect, how to do a home meeting, how to follow up with a prospect, and a few of them even mention products. Wow. Rally tapes are personal stories. The distributor or distributor couple talk about their life before the business and some of their experiences with the business. Tapes can also be used as prospecting tools. There are many generic tapes available, tapes that don't mention Amway, which are handed out to pique the curiosity of your prospect and pave the way for showing the plan. Follow-up tapes are designed for your prospect after he's seen the plan to minimize the questions he will have for you. Music tapes are also available. These are heavily promoted at functions. Music tapes, according to the leadership, will help you when your morale is low. When you pop that tape into your player on your way home after a no-show, you'll mentally be right back in the Coliseum with 40,000 excited distributors around you, and you'll be able to relive the excitement you felt at the function. It will help you over your hump. Music is so important. And, I can remember Carl Deichler talking about convention and about how we'd go home from the Beachbody convention and that, we needed to hold on to that excitement. Hence, they had Super Saturdays. And then we also had other types of like meetings and bullshit that we know they wanted us to go to as well. It was to like keep you all in that ether, keep you all right there. And, does it work? Maybe for some, but, really? Does it really keep you there? I think at some point, it kind of loses people because, you're seeing it's not happening for you. Functions. Functions is a catch-all term used to describe a wide variety of meeting types, including introductory seminars, seminars and rallies, regional rallies, and major functions, huge gatherings of distributors from a wide geographic area having catchy names like Family Reunion, Dream Weekend, or Free Enterprise Day. There are special leadership meetings which distributors must qualify to attend. And yes, there were special meetings at the Beachbody Convention that only if you were a certain rank could you attend it. Such bullshit, and then I was there like, I want to go to it. I want to be in that. Oh, it was so dumb. It's like, because you really don't get anything else. It's not like there's anything secret about it. It's just more of the same. Sales aids. Sales aids include product catalogs, order forms, price lists, pamphlets, handouts, informational brochures, and in a few cases, audio or videotapes which describe or demonstrate a specific product. Gosh, Onpassive doesn't have anything like that to describe anything because, number one, they're still migrating, right? Because it's normal to migrate for months, right? Okay, yeah, we're all believing that, right? We all bought that, right? Yeah, yeah, and we're all also buying, that land in Louisiana, that swampland, and land in Florida, that swampland, and we're going to build, big old hotels on that too. Poor IBOs suffering from CPD, IBS, and ED needing to move some BSM and PV to buy more CBD and THC to escape the Amway PTSD. Damn, hun, you did that beautifully. Thank you so much for that. Jeez. Can you throw some more like janky ass acronyms in there? Shit. Okay, communications and media. Although this category is not yet part of the litany of books, tools, and functions taught to distributors, it has become a strong and compelling tool. The broad heading of communications media include the Amvox voice messaging system, VoiceTel in Canada, and proprietary satellite television channels available through cable providers. I'm kind of thinking nowadays it is going to be, like more social media stuff. We also anticipate either Amway or some other major distributor leaders to offer proprietary online computer services in the near future. Each of these has the added advantage to be the AMO leaders of generating ongoing residual revenue on a monthly basis. Wait, what the hell is AMO? The Amvox voice messaging, I guess. Amvox is the voice messaging system sold by Amway Corporation. In addition to basic answering machine services, the Amvox system has networking capabilities. This means that A can send a message to B, who can then pass it along to C, D, and E. Each of them, in turn, might send it to 8 or 10 more distributors who could forward it to another 20 or 30, and so on. This way, instead of messaging your downline distributor to say that your upline told you something, you pass along the upline's actual message in his or her own words, keeping the duplication pure. Is it just me? Or, I really feel like I need to take a shower. This just really seems dirty. Interestingly, the use of this system has become a key point in several of the recent lawsuits against Amway. Oh, I do love that for them. And you're right, Insulin Bite Queen of acronyms. Queen and King of acronyms. Yes. They have I think like an entire dictionary of like, what the fuck does this shit mean? Costs of this system are extremely high. The basic Answer Amvox, which does not offer networking features and works like an answering machine, costs $11.85 per month or $9.50 at distributor cost. I have the same service through my local telephone company for $4.95. VoiceTel, the company which provides the service which Amway resells, offers the same services directly. Any individual, small business, or organization can set up a networked voice messaging system and for less money. What Amway sells as the premier service for $27.95, $22.35 distributor costs is available directly for $19.95. Because Amvox is sold by Amway, it carries PV and BV and provides residual income for distributors. So that's going to be that has to do with like personal volume and business volume. Did I get those right? I don't know. That's what I'm going with right now. The Achievers channel is a proprietary satellite channel created for Internet Services Corp, the tool arm of the empire of distributors Dexter and Bertie Yaeger. The channel promises to deliver content that will help distributors in their line of sponsorship to sponsor and train new recruits and to promote the lifestyles of the high achievers. Information publicizing the channel in October 1997 promised that it will deliver 45 hours of programming each month, including credibility segments to be used as closers after showing the plan. Diamond showcases, which would air immediately following the credibility segment, Amway product infomercials, and BSM infomercials. The cost to distributors, only $39.95 per month. Do you see how this keeps on adding up for all of this? We speculate that some sort of online computer service will be offered to Amway distributors. Several years ago, Amway Corp struck a deal with CompuServe to provide proprietary content on the CompuServe system. I don't think CompuServe exists anymore, does it? I think that's long gone. This was known as the Amway Business Network, or ABN. Still cheaper than certain former webinar services. True, Monhun, very true. Distributors who wanted to access ABN could enroll with CompuServe and access ABN for an additional fee each month. ABN has since moved to the World Wide Web and the proprietary content removed from the CompuServe network. However, we believe that Amway will be forced to offer a proprietary network of some sort for two important reasons. First, to capture the residual monies that distributors are now paying to other internet service providers, and second, to offer its own proprietary content and thus keep distributors off certain World Wide Web sites. Why? Because the internet has become a powerful tool which allows those who have been financially or emotionally harmed by their Amway experience to disseminate information that Amway and the distributor leaders don't want publicized. Who even calls it the World Wide Web anymore? No one. No one at all. Who provides the tools? Some of the tools, primarily sales aids, are produced by Amway Corporation. These are sold to distributors and carry no personal volume, PV. Although most do carry BV. I'm guessing that's business volume. You guys, if you know, please let me know. Therefore, the purchase of catalogs or other sales aids will not help a distributor qualify for a bonus level. Sneaky, sneaky. But his bonus payment will reflect those purchases. Amway also offers a handful of audio tapes and videos. The vast majority of tools, however, do not come from Amway. In the September 1997 SA-13 wholesale price list, the most recent available as of this writing, Amway offered videos dealing with commercial laundry products, home care product demonstrations, home laundry care, and the Amway branded vacuum cleaner, cookware, nutrition products, personal care and cosmetics, Amvox and Franklin Quest, the brand of time planner marketed by Amway. Wow. Non-product videos numbered only 13. Several of these are sponsoring aids, 4 show lifestyle of high achievers, and one is founder Rich DeVos's video talk about his book, Compassionate Capitalism. That's a book that I aim to get so that I can share it with you guys, because why do I think it's not all that compassionate? Price for the videos is $15 a piece with 15 BV. Audio tapes offered by Amway are few in number as well. 8 product-related audio tapes at $4 each with 4 BV, and 17 that are not product-oriented, 14 of which feature either Rich DeVos or Jay Van Andel, company co-founders. All other Amway-produced support materials listed fall into the category of sales aids, brochures, customer handouts, samples, dispensers, demonstrators, or replacement parts. So who does provide the tools of the system? Enter the Yaegers. Dexter and Bertie Yaeger are Crown Ambassador direct distributors, meaning that they personally sponsor at least 20 direct distributor organizations. They became Amway distributors in 1964, the year I was born, and at that time, they lived in Rome, New York, with 4 small children. Yaeger was a salesman for the West End Brewery, making $95 per week, setting up Utica Club beer displays in grocery stores. The Yaegers became direct distributors very quickly, but 3 years later, their business had slipped so much that Yaeger was applying for jobs. Then somebody loaned him a vinyl record of the famous Earl Nightingale motivational speech, The Strangest Secret. Yaeger turned his Amway business around. Dexter Yaeger had discovered the power of motivational tools, and he began selling them to his group in the 1970s. While there are non-Yaeger Amway organizations which have similar motivational tool systems, we believe Yaeger's to have been the first and to have established the pattern for others. Yep, I do too. Monhun says, what's funny is CompuServe used to pay royalties to companies based on how much time their users spent in companies' portals, message boards. Amway was making even more money off the IBOs there. Oh, wow. My grandma on my mom's side is from the Utica, Rome area. Oh, wow. Or was. She passed away some years ago. Interesting. Doug Weed is a minister and an Amway diamond, although he is no longer recognized by the Yaeger organization. See sidebar. Oh, let me go read that. The Amway motivational organizations like Yaeger's are adept at rewriting history. Distributors who meet with their disapproval for any reason simply disappear from the acknowledged history of the organization. Weed is no longer invited to speak, and his tapes are not offered for sale. This revision of history occurs routinely whenever there is a diamond divorce. Doug and Gloria Weed disappear from view. Doug later resurfaces as a motivational speaker, not as an Amway diamond, and is married to Miriam. Kenny and Donna Stewart become Kitty Stewart, and the organization pretends that Donna never existed. Wow. My diamond told me to get rid of any audio tapes that feature her because she's no longer plugged in. Carlos and Carmen Marin metamorphoses into Carlos and a new wife. Bill and Hona Childers is now Bill and Susie Childers. Bev and Jim Maynard disappear. Bev resurfaces as Bev Johnson, wife of Diamond Leaf Johnson. Today it's Leaf and Bonnie Johnson, and Beverly Sally is a single diamond. New distributors are given the impression that Kenny Stewart and the others built their business single-handedly. After all, we don't want to acknowledge that the diamonds get divorces just like anyone else. That would be negative. Holy shit. That's really interesting. Okay. Okay, so I'll read the sidebar. According to Weed, in tape speeches made during the 1980s, Dexter originally gave away motivational tapes to his group because he recognized that their business grew faster if distributors had these materials. After a time, he started charging for the tapes that he made available. Dexter claimed that distributors would listen to the tapes more and absorb the teaching better if they had to pay for something. Weed explained. From those humble beginnings, the Yaegers have created a motivational empire run by his company, Internet Services Corp. Tools or the system in Yaeger Internet parlance includes motivational educational tapes, books, videos, CDs, pamphlets, brochures, handouts, and most recently, a proprietary satellite television network available through a cable provider. Tools also includes a system of functions. These will be discussed later. Standing Order Tape, SOT, and Book of the Month, BOM, are the backbone of the Yaeger tool business. There is a regular SOT, Standing Order Tape, and also a pace setter or a Quicksilver SOT, Standard Order Tape. That later, of course, is the real winners. Those distributors who are really putting it together. Some organizations have recently added a Video of the Month, VOM, as well. Once a distributor signs up for any of these standing orders, he is obligated to take each weekly tape, monthly book, and video at the prevailing price. He can request to be taken off standing order, but the pressure from his upline to continue receiving it is very strong, as will be demonstrated. Many other tapes are available. Typically, speakers from seminars, rallies, and major functions are recorded, and those tapes made available later as either SOT or under another numbering system. The SOT tapes, which are very popular, are usually renumbered and released later as well. Tape packs, which combine major speakers from the larger functions, are sold. Oftentimes, a distributor will buy one of these tape packs only to find that he receives duplicate tapes spread out over a period of weeks through the SOT program. There are also inspirational or Christian tapes available through a separate SOT program. So a distributor is heavily involved in the system can easily spend $18 plus tax and handling each and every week for tapes that he doesn't choose. And of course, the SOTs, being special orders, are non-returnable and non-refundable in spite of Amway's insistence that the producers of BSMs offer them with the same guarantee of returnability that Amway offers on its products and tools. There are music tapes and CDs. There are videos which feature everything from high-ranking diamonds showing the marketing plan and lifestyle videos showing all the houses, cars, boats, airplanes, jewelry, furs, and other toys that diamonds have. There is a limited selection of computer software. There are generic tapes and videos which don't mention Amway or selling. These insidious tools are designed to be used in prospecting new recruits. There are generic brochures and pamphlets to accompany those prospecting tapes. The tool list also includes books authored by Dexter or Bert Yaeger, motivational books by people like Zig Ziglar, books about business, about relationships, about marriage, about religion, and about politics. The BOM might be a little $3 pamphlet type book, or it might be a $20 hardcover. Once a distributor has signed up for BOM, he takes what's sent and pays for it. Until recently, Internet's list of tapes and books included almost nothing about selling Amway products. In mid-1997, in an unusual effort to showcase sales and products, there was a sudden flurry of release of tapes and brochures and forms dealing with the new automatic replenishment or home shopping delivered HSD system. This new system allows distributors to set themselves and customers up on an automatic ordering system with purchases charged to a credit card. According to an article in the Charlotte, North Carolina Observer, March 19, 1995, the Pentagon of Yaeger's Amway Army is a nondescript office warehouse on Steel Creek Road in Southwest Charlotte. Internet Services Corp serves as headquarters and supply depot. It distributes millions of books, tapes, and videos that are the motivational fuel for Yaeger troops in their fight against slammed doors and negative people. Internet services is now a $35 million a year business. I'm sure it's much more than that. Exactly right, Joe. Auto ship. Internet Services Corporation provides motivational tools to Yaeger Amway organizations in a number of different countries, including the United States, Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Colombia, Great Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Romania, Switzerland, Greece, Belgium, Netherlands, Portugal, Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, India, Venezuela, South Africa, and China as of this writing. However, we will be discussing the tools business primarily as it exists in North America, the United States, and Canada. Oh, you live in the Steel Creek area of Charlotte. Wow. Wow. So the next chapter is 5, money and the tools. I mean, people are paying a pretty penny for all of this, even back then. And I'm sure they're paying more now. And in the case of Onpassive, they're not paying to attend these webinars, but they're paying with their time. And that's still a commitment, And with Darren and Mike, I'm sure there are things that they are paying for along the way. I don't know what those things are right now. And if my team member is here, if you know what people do spend money on monthly that Darren and Mike profit from, in addition to the course that's $149, I would be interested in knowing, and having to buy that book. I'm sure there are other things. If they have any conventions, because I do know they do have their own little conventions. People have to buy tickets to those conventions. They're going to profit from that. They're going to profit if they have any little trinkets there, if they have baseball hats, T-shirts, coffee mugs, if they have any of that stuff, people are going to buy that. They're going to profit from it. All of that stuff. If they have a space that they will let their high-ranking people rent out, they're going to profit from it. They will dip. I mean, people in general in this kind of type of business, they will find ways to dip into pockets as often as they possibly can. And and it's done in a way where people are not thinking like, oh, somebody else is making money off of me. They actually think like, oh, they're doing me a favor. I'm getting this deal. Look how generous they are. They didn't have to do this for me. So it's kind of like, there's some mental gymnastics that typically go along with all of this. Let's see. Oh gosh. Okay. So Darren and Mike, they have their private Facebook group is 200,000. So with 200,000 members buying the $149 course, that is $29,800,000 with just that. That does not include what they're wanting you to get, which is a $10,000 water ionizer, from Enagic. And that's just one of the MLMs that they shill, because then when you reach a particular rank, they also want you to join send out cards. But it doesn't stop there, because they also have this other thing called Positive Shift Academy. that you need to join when you reach a particular rank as well, which I will cover more about that in a different stream. This whole because I've wanted to cover about the Positive Shift Academy. And now that I know a little bit more of how they are associated with the person behind Positive Shift Academy. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. So my team member says that they have a screenshot showing 190,000 members. So that's why they believe like by now there's probably like 200,000 members. So yeah, I mean, we're talking, yeah. So they're making money. So that's a tool that they have used, is that course. And people do not find out that what they're selling them is to become an magic distributor, which is, to me, that's just pretty grimy and gross. All right, 5, money and the tools. For years as a distributor, I was assured that the motivational tools existed only to help distributors, that they were fairly priced and nobody made a profit on tools. This is simply not true. Sorry, I'm reaching over to get some lip stuff because my lips feel so dry. I can't stand it. And I'm not supposed to be putting this stuff on it right now because my dentist gave me some stuff to use, but oh my gosh, I can't take it. Can you get your money back? One of Amway's strong selling points in their 100% guarantee: if a customer is dissatisfied with a product for any reason at all, Amway will take it back, will even pay the return shipping. Returning motivational tools, however, is nearly impossible. The return is totally dependent on the goodwill of the upline, up to and including the upline diamond. As one disgruntled former distributor explained in an email message, I was an active distributor for more than 1 year, and during that time, I purchased a lot of tapes, books, etc., at the urging of my upline and the system. While I was active, one of my distributors left the business and wanted a refund on her business support materials, tapes, books, toolkit. I asked my upline direct if I could do this, and he said yes. Refunded her 97%, and he said 3% was a restocking fee. That was fair. All were pleased. Hey, Steamship, how are you doing? Well, it is related to Onpassive, because Onpassive does use a tool, and it's called their massive amounts of webinars. So think of it in that. I'm reading a book that's about the Amway motivational organizations, but all MLMs use tools. I'm just reading it, starting where it all began, which is with Amway. When I left the business, my upline direct was not fair. He told me that he refunded that money to my downline because he felt sorry for me and didn't want my friend to be upset with me. He said that he would have to check with his upline to see if he could give me a refund. That was a month ago. I am going to follow up with him tonight. I know he is going to give me a hard time. All I'm asking for is the same treatment that as my downline received. Why does one business get 97% back from a tool refund while the other business, me, will maybe get a 25% refund? Sounds like the rules are made up as they go along. Very unethical. Another distributor has shared the same in a series of letters. This man was a distributor for 4 years and describes himself as a believer in the Amway business and the motivational system. He explains, but in the end, we were losers. Oh my gosh, that really hurts for people to call themselves losers. We lost financially, time, and almost a marriage. Over the past 9 months, I have tried to recoup some of the tool money. I followed Internet Service Corp's advice. 1 month at least later, I get a call from my upline saying they are unable to return the tools because it would be too disruptive and cause too much of a problem. They said they would resell them though. I did not care what happened to them as long as I was reimbursed. After 6 months, I had $68 out of $600. Can you believe it? The reason we got out was because of the way the tool system worked. When I started questioning and trying to get some refunds, we were turned away, blackballed. No one would speak to us, not even people we were really close to. My upline diamond was Greg Howard, then Everest Davis, upline emerald, then Dick Kangas, direct distributor. I know there are others in there, but these are the key players. Since our last conversation, I have gotten the ear of a diamond and the Amway Corporation. Once I did that, my direct has tried to bury my silence for $100 out of $600. He still does not get it. He denies any knowledge of how to return any tools to internet. Oh yeah, no one in his upline, which takes us up to Tim Bryan, a diamond personally sponsored by Dexter Yaeger, knows how to return tools either. I just cannot believe it. They say they are your friend, but as soon as you stop, forget it. Why should it be so difficult to get refunds on tools? In 1985, Tom Eagleston, then Chief Operating Officer of Amway Corporation, insisted that the Yaeger's motivational sideline posed no problems for the corporation. We are satisfied that the retail selling price is competitive with similar training materials in the marketplace and delivers good value for distributors, he said. Eagleston said the corporation reviews many of internet training materials and cassette tapes to assure that they are fairly and accurately depict the earnings potential and other aspects of the business. He said Amway has emphasized that the purchase of such materials is voluntary. That's from The Observer on March 19th, 1995. Many distributors and former distributors disagree. In fact, there would soon be disagreement at the highest corporate levels about the burgeoning motivational tools business. Co-founder Rich DeVos released a message to direct distributors in 1982 that clearly shows his objections. DeVos announced first that Amway was putting BV, but not PV, on the handful of motivational tapes in the Amway catalog, tapes and at that time sold for $2.50 in the US and $2.95 in Canada. This way, distributors could increase their performance bonus through tapes and sales in their groups. In his directly speaking tape reproduced for court pleadings in the 1984 Keynes versus Amway case and the matter of public record, DeVos discusses what the tape business should not be. Now, the tape business, if it is not used as a support for the Amway business, will oftentimes be an illegal business. In fact, it could be called a pyramid because it does not get sold to the consumer, which means that the tape business does not take money out of the organization. And because the final person can't retail it, it never brings money into the organization. Now, I'm not arguing about the value of it. We accept the fact that the motivation is vital to the business. Good, honest motivation is important to the business, but it must be motivation that builds the business, not become a business in itself. Emphasis was his. You, speaking to the directs, present wonderful numbers on the blackboard about all the money they, distributors, can make. Maybe you ought to sell them all you're going to take from them with your tools businesses before you take any. Maybe that would be the rest of the story. And some of you have made it into a business into itself, and you're making a lot of money on it. Selective refunds, reselling non-refundable tools positions. You're in or you're out. Totally unique to Amway. Yep. Thank you, Monhun, for that. Therein lies the crux of the motivational tools business, which has led to many abuses. The tool business has generated huge incomes for a few people. For the sake of clarity from the point forward, any references to Amway or the Amway business will refer to Amway Corporation. The distributor lines of sponsorship will participate in the systems of books, tapes, and functions will be referred to as Amway Motivational Organizations, AMOs. And in some ways, when looking at Onpassive, there are certain channels that get a lot more attention than others. And those certain channels have also received more income from people from the top than others. If you know what I mean. If you read between those lines of who is furnishing that money, which I find interesting. And again, the people who are at the top of any of these things, it's never by accident. It's always a planned sort of a thing. Although they do like to make it appear as if they got there by their hard work. They did it all themselves. But did they? Or was it pre-planned and predetermined? The major North American AMOs are Yaeger Internet System, Brit Worldwide, Worldwide Dream Builders. That's who I did something on, was Worldwide Dream Builders. International Networking Associates, International Leadership Development Incorporated, and I did Network 21. Yeah, I did Network 21. Bill and Peggy Brit Worldwide are actually part of Dexter and Britt Yaeger's organization. However, the Brits separated their AMO from Yaeger's in the early 1980s after Yaeger began manufacturing his own tapes. Brit's business had previously handled tape duplication for both organizations. Worldwide Dream Builders is headed by Ron Puryear, whose upline is Bill and Peggy Britt. INA, headed by Jack Dougherty, split from Worldwide Dream Builders. In South America and Europe, another major AMO is Pronet, headed by Crown distributor Tim and Connie Foley. The Foleys are also downline from Yaeger in North America, but have created their own AMO overseas. Hal and Susan Gooch, who have recently withdrawn their large organization, which includes Crown's Kenny Stewart and Tim and Connie Foley, from under the Yaeger Internet umbrella. The AMOs are all intertwined and interrelated, making it difficult to see how they fit together. It may be easier to visualize them in terms of a very large multi-generational family, since the Yaeger Internet System is the one the other sprang from. This is the AMO system that we will focus on. Diana Lackey, a former Internet Service Corporation employee, said Internet paid ICCA 55 cents to duplicate each tape. The tapes were sold to diamonds from varying prices, usually $1 to $2 a piece, she said. But by the time they got to the newest recruits, the price had jumped to $5. More than 200 new Internet tapes were released yearly, and millions of tapes changed hands, she said, Observer, which was on March 20th of 1995. A commercial price list recently obtained from ICCA shows bulk tape duplication prices at 60 cents a piece. This is the price ICCA would charge a non-Amway business, and obviously includes ICCA's profits. Different diamond organizations charge different amounts, but in many organizations, a single tape costs $6 in the United States, and one organization shows a price of $9.50 on tapes. When I was a new distributor, I attempted to order several of the motivational tapes produced by Amway Corporation. At that time, Yaeger was charging $3 for each tape, 50 cents more than the Amway was charging. My sponsor told me that those tapes were not available in our particular organization. This is a common practice throughout the Yaeger system. In the distributor organizations where only the direct distributor can place orders directly with Amway, the direct simply does not order Amway Corporation's motivational tools. This forces the distributor to get tapes from the upline system rather than from Amway at a higher cost to the distributor and a much higher profit to the upline. Geez. I never really got into the whole Jesse Lee thing, but all of it, again, is all based on what Amway did. Amway was who came up with this entire type thing. And anyone else that's doing any of it, it's been a duplication. And it may be a revision of some sort, but it originated here first. Oh, yeah, and you're right. And certain people asking for donations for optional in-person trainings. Yeah. Yeah. And so Steamship, I really can't answer that because I didn't follow that whole thing, and it just became very messy, especially when it became known that she did have cancer, and and as a cancer survivor myself, it just became so icky to me. I just can't even discuss it to this day because I found it all very highly disturbing. And not only things that she did, yes, but also things that other creators did too, which I don't even know everything that was done, but I just know that people really went hard on her. And I just, when you're dealing with cancer, even if you are harming other people, you're still dealing with cancer, and that's never a fun thing to go through. Nobody wants to ever hear the C word. It's not fun. And I do know that she tried some unusual methods to relieve herself of that. But I also know that many people will turn to almost anything in an attempt to get rid of it. And unscrupulous people will take advantage of others in that way too. And I just find it very upsetting. So I just really can't even discuss it. It's just too close to my own personal experience. So moving on. In distributor organizations where only the direct distributor could, okay, I think I've read all that. I'm much higher to the upline. Okay, why do distributors need tools? When a distributor asks his upline why he needs tools, he hears predictable responses. Well, if you were a carpenter, you wouldn't think of going to work without your hammer, saw, screwdriver, etc. The tapes and books are your tools for building a successful Amway business. And just like attending all these webinars, I mean, if you're serious, you're going to stay plugged in, aren't you? If you really want to, rock this business, you're going to be plugged in and you're going to attend every damn thing, right? But do you really need to? Or is that really benefiting somebody else? The tapes and books are your tools for building a successful Amway business. Tools are optional, but so is success. Every trade has its own tools. If you want to become successful, you have to learn how successful people think. The tapes and books will help you do that. Tools will help you grow as a person. The tools will increase your sponsoring rate. Tapes are important for information and motivation, you are told. Tapes will inspire you. Tapes will help you overcome the negative. Tapes will lift you out of your own stinking thinking JOB mentality. Tapes will help you sponsor new people. Never was I told, nor have I ever heard of another distributor who was told, tapes will help you sell products. Books serve a different purpose, the upline will explain. Books will educate you and help you change your thinking. Listening to a tape will motivate you. Reading a book will inspire you. Reading is important because studies prove that you retain more of what you see than what you only hear. In December 1997, list of new tapes, books, and videos available from Internet Services Corporation for North America breaks tools down into categories. Advertising packs, 1. Actually, not product advertising at all, but generic tapes which do not mention Amway products or selling and which tout the advantages of becoming a distributor. Merchandising, self-use, 3. Rally story, 2. Seminar teaching, 10. Commitment, leadership, family, 1. Attitude, commitment, 1. Attitude, self-image, success, 1. Follow through, 1. Inspirational, 1. Showing the plan, 2. Singles, 1. And a category called Next Generation, 2. From analyzing distribution models in many industries, I can tell you that the practice of profiting from selling training and motivation materials to new distributors is a red flag of fraud or abuse. It is an immediate sign that the manufacturer is deceiving and churning the distributors. The profit gained from the training tools depletes the distributor's resources for the real business, selling the manufacturer's goods, and is therefore at odds with the distributor's interests. If the profit is gained without the full knowledge of the distributors, as is true in the Amway distributor business, the abuse is compounded. Further, if the manufacturer can earn substantial profit from training distributors, then the entire business focuses is insidiously shifted. The more distributors pay for training, the more profit to the company, whether the distributor ever succeeds or not. When the potential profit is large, as in MLM, and can actually exceed profit margins from distributor sales of products, the core business is fundamentally corrupted. At that point, the business more closely resembles a confidence scheme than a distributor channel. The distributor's trust is gained with deceptive claims of income to be earned from the independent distribution of business he believes he is investing in. The trust is then used to gain payments for so-called training and other requirements for the illusory success he is urged to pursue. Robert Fitzpatrick. You guys are familiar with that name, right? Good old Robert, colleague and friend. Do any of the seminar teaching tools teach people how to market Amway products and services? Just a very few. They carry titles like "The Turtle Won the Race," "2 pats on the back for every slap on the wrist," "White shirts and red ties," "Give it the heat," "Thinking in multiples of emerald," "Give up a little to get a lot," "Just like Amway, only better," "Horizontal and vertical growth," "Free enterprise day speeches," and "Ring your life with life's riches." There's even one video which is categorized as "Tools Importance of," which discusses Amway's new business support materials, arbitration agreement, and insidious contract, which we will discuss later. What about the attitude or commitment tapes? Their titles are "Undeniable Truths" and "The People You Meet," and "Storms of Perfection." The next generation videos feature the children of high-level achievers in the Yaeger organization at play, their winter retreat in 1997, and the Yaeger Youth Leadership Conferences. This is supposed to demonstrate the wonderful impact the Amway business has on the lives of the distributor's children. Of the 26 new tapes, books, and videos on the December 1997 list, exactly 3, or 11.5%, deal with selling products or services. The other 88.5% all promote the use of tools and plugging into the system. The tapes are repetitive. After you've heard a dozen or so teaching tapes, you've pretty much heard all the information they offer. So why subscribe to standing order tapes and buy a tape per week? Your upline will use circular reasoning to explain. If you're listening to tapes, but you haven't achieved what you want, then obviously you haven't listened to enough tapes. Even if the information sounds repetitive, someday someone on some tape or at some function will say something just a little bit differently, and it will be the missing piece that helps you to build a successful business. You don't want to miss the one thing that will help you, that will help your business explode, do you? The solution, if you're not where you want to be in the business, is to listen to more tapes, read more books, and attend more functions, all sold to you by your upline, of course. You'll be told frequently that your AMO leader started offering the tapes, books, and functions out of the goodness of his heart because he realized it would help you grow in your business. He didn't have to invest all that money in the tape duplication facility, you are reminded, but he did it because he knew how important the tapes are to your growth. Nowhere is it mentioned that he makes any money at all, let alone the vast majority of his income on the sale of tools. The rules have changed, but the AMOs, it's business as usual. Every year, between September 1st and December 31st, distributors must renew their distributorship. In September 1997, Amway began requiring renewing distributors to sign agreements regarding sales of tools, or what Amway calls business support materials, BSMs. The new intent to continue ITC form states, I understand that the purchase of BSM materials is always optional, but is it? If a distributor chooses to purchase BSMs, Amway requires him to sign a business support materials arbitration agreement, BSMAA. Your sponsor, according to Amway's rules, is obligated to train and motivate you whether or not you participate in the system. The BSMAA states that neither Amway nor anyone else can require a distributor to purchase BSM. If you sponsor others, you have an obligation to train and motivate them whether or not they choose to buy business support materials. All distributors are free to change their volume of purchases of such items, to cancel standing orders, or to cease such purchases at any time without threats, pressure, or retaliation. Sadly, this is completely ignored by the distributors in the field. The BSMAA also reminds distributors that, according to Amway's rules of conduct, anyone who sells BSMs must buy them back if asked within 180 days of the purchase date. Has it gotten any easier for distributors to return tools and get their money back? In an email dated April 27, 1998, a disillusioned distributor writes, I still can't believe the amount of money I spent on all those tools. My sponsor said he'd pay us back the unopened tapes when he sold them, and he'd give us half back for the open tapes. So my husband boxed up a ton of them and wrote them up. Then they changed their tune. I could only get my money back if the tapes were unopened, and I had bought them within the last 6 months. We decided that the effort and the fight wasn't worth the energy we'd have to put into it. So we cut our losses and dropped it. But I still get mad that he changed his tune. On April 5th, 1998, another distributor emails, remember how I said I was going to get some money back from the tapes? Well, guess what? I haven't heard a thing from my former direct. He responded to a couple of messages of mine, but since I haven't heard a thing, and now my messages are not being returned. Does Amway enforce its own rules? The record of legal complaints against the company clearly indicates that it does not. Regardless of the agreements that you sign, the sad reality is that your upline exerts tremendous pressure on you to buy tools and attend functions, and there is no practical recourse if you later want to recoup your losses unless you're willing to commence lengthy legal battles. Has your upline ever made statements like, I don't make any money until I help you become successful? Using actual sales data from my lease, in particular AMO, represents revenues of about $1,000 per year to his upline from books, tapes, and sponsoring tools alone, whether or not he ever sponsors a single distributor or sells a single product. Your upline direct distributors keeps a small portion of the $1,000. Your upline diamond keeps substantially more. Obviously, your upline has a strong interest in selling you tools. If we compare the diamond's income from tools to the diamond's income from your product use or sales, it becomes quickly obvious why there is such an erroneous emphasis on consumption of tools and attendance at functions. Let's assume that your upline qualifies as a direct distributor for all 12 months. If you order 100 PV of Amway products personally on a monthly basis, or 2,400 PV, 4,800 BV for the year, you spend about $5,424 for products. This was in 1999 dollars. Your upline direct will get a 25% bonus on the 4,800 BV, or about $1,200. The diamond will receive a much smaller piece of those products, somewhere around $264, depending on several variables. However, income from the tools is reversed. The bonus system for tools is extremely complicated. So there are a great many variables. On the average, though, it's safe to say that your 1,000 tool purchase during the year, your upline direct will get a bonus of about $120, while your diamonds cut will be anywhere from $200 to $490. If your direct has 50 core distributorships in his group, all ordering 100 PV per month and purchasing an average number of tools, his income will be about $15,000 from product movement and $6,000 from tools for that group during the year. On the same group volume of products versus tools, the diamond will earn about $6,000 from products and $24,500 from tools. This demonstrates why your upline, as he moves up from one pin level to another, changes his emphasis from promoting product flow to promoting tool consumption. Oh, so somebody who was, so as a distributor's child who grew up in it, I can say that the impact of Amway has had on our lives and is anything but wonderful. I am so very sorry to hear that. And I mean, this is the tale that is heard like around the world of the harm that has been inflicted on so many people. Thank you very much for sharing that. I really appreciate you coming on here and your willingness to share that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Investing, Scam Chan says, investing more funds into tools without a good return in sight. Yep. Monhan says, youth leadership seminars for children of IBOs definitely doesn't sound culture. Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Monhan also says, sounds like they needed to submit another support ticket and they'll super duper promise to refund them. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Steamship had no idea any of this existed at Amway. Oh, my gosh. So you are learning. I'm learning you, Steamship. I'm learning you. Yes. I mean, this is, yeah, it's very grimy. And Steamship, go check out the videos that I have made on some of these, leaders that were, and they're no longer with us. But that doesn't mean I can't make videos about them because they're behind all of this stuff. And it's very important to think about their impact, not only on Amway, but what is going on overall within MLMs in the modern world. And that's why I have mentioned the multiple webinars for Onpassive, for example, and how people are compelled. And also remember how they were told at one point, as if that there's some kind of recognition for how often you're viewing things and if you're commenting on videos. Because, Ash made it sound like, almost like you better be good boys and girls. I'm checking the list. I'm checking it twice. I'm going to find out who's naughty and nice. I mean, that's literally what it has been said, And I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your name. So I'm going to just call you 891. The mental hold that the tapes, meetings, books, etc. have on my parent, sibling, and Amway is so intense, it's scary. Are they still involved in Amway to this day? And if so, that is how many years have they been involved? And that's the thing also, is that, I mean, think about the people who are here, like Scam Chan, Monhun, Steamship, Joe, Jelly. You guys have been following the whole thing with Onpassive, and you have seen how some people have left, and I've shown some stuff on people who have left and gone into other things. They still are in that whole mindset of this sort of thing is going to work, and yet it keeps on not working. But yet they keep on trying, so to speak, to make it work, because it's almost like that cognitive dissonance. Like it's just not going to, it's too hard for them to believe it's not going to work. But again, this overall, this big, huge lie that they're told of you just work harder, you got to believe a little bit more. You got to read some more. You got to listen to some more tips. You got to listen to some more webinars. You got to be plugged in. You got to just go. You're not really completely, all in. You believe that stuff, and you believe it is your fault and that you have got to somehow change. You take on the belief that you have a problem, and it's not you, it's the overall system. And they want you to stay in it for as long as possible, because as long as you stay in it, you're paying into it, so those at the top make money. Oh, PH Actress, thank you so much for doing that. Thank you. Parents have been in, oh my God, almost 35 years, and Stilling has been almost 20. They are at a conference this weekend, yet they barely have $1 to their name. Oh my gosh, sweetheart, I am so sorry to hear that. But I'm so glad that you are sharing that with us. Thank you so much. And that breaks my heart. That absolutely breaks my heart, because, your parents and your sibling, they're not the only ones that are in it that long and still believe, even though they're not reaping any rewards from it. But that just really, the cultic nature of these things and how it really just gets in there. And you are absolutely welcome here anytime. If you want to, if you need solace, if you need to be around people that, believe exactly what you're saying and know what you're saying is 10,000% accurate, we're here for you. We understand. And I'm just so very sorry that that is happening in your family. And I'm sure that it's very hurtful for you to watch, knowing that you can't do anything. All that you can do is continue educating yourself. And if they ever decide to leave, just, be there for them and listen to them and be supportive. Monhan says they're all just one recruit away from being a billionaire. And that's what they believe too. They really do. And Joe says, we are sorry, and we are. Everyone here is really sorry that you're going through that. We're very genuine about that. It's these are the things that I want to hear, but it does break my heart. It absolutely does. But these are the stories that need to be told. People like you need to come out and say these things, because it's important for people to hear it. It's very important. Thank you again. Jeff Probant is a Diamond direct distributor who has publicized some of the abuses of the AMO system on a website. He describes on his website the conversations he had with his upline when he first qualified as a direct distributor. Well, Jeff, you've been working very hard to go direct. I was 19 at the time, and of course, I wholeheartedly agreed. You've put a lot of miles on your car, bought a lot of tools, many of which you gave out and didn't get back. Yes, this was all true. We have a way to help compensate you for all that, called tape breaks. At this point, I was moving about 500 to 750 tapes a month through my organization. Tapes cost at that time $5 a piece. We are going to give you 20 cents per tape as a bonus to help make up for some of the expenses you've had. He went on to tell me that Dexter Yaeger put money in the system to make up for the fact that there wasn't enough money in the Amway plan. He told me that this was a secret that you only found out about when you went direct. I wasn't to tell anyone. He told me this tape break was not a right, but a privilege. This money should not be used to create a lifestyle, but to help me give away more tapes and put gas in my car. It was implied that if I were ever not building the business, this tape break money would be taken away. As I am writing this, it seems so obvious to me that the take break was wrong. I didn't see it that way at the time. The people in my upline had been so edified, deified, that I'm sure there wasn't much they could have told me that I wouldn't have questioned. Prombin outlined the take break for each level that he personally achieved, from raw distributor up through emerald, with 2 emeralds in each depth. A distributor pays $6 per tape in that organization. The direct pays $5.70, a sapphire $5.45, an emerald $5.20, and an emerald with 2 emeralds in depth $4.95. Probant claims at the emerald direct distributor level, about half the income is from the system. My experience supports this. And of course, the diamonds ratio of Amway system income is much more lopsided. In another organization, the tape bonuses were handled differently. Instead of the tape break, where direct actually paid less for tapes than he sold them for, a complicated system of bonuses and refunds was in place. Like the BV on Amway products, each tool had a value called CV placed on it by Internet Services Corporation, or the AMO leader who produced it. Directs, pearls, sapphires, emeralds, diamonds earned bonuses based on the CV. A tape which sold $6 carried a CV of $5.55. I'm sorry, $5.55. I'm sorry, does it say in dollars? This CV represented the profit which could be shared out. The direct would get 12%, 67 cents. The emerald, 33%, $1.83. The first diamond, 49%, $2.72. And the remaining 51%, $3.28, was divided among the upline diamonds and Yaeger. If you're quick at math, you've realized that this adds up to more than 100%. The tool bonuses follow the line of sponsorship, and money comes from the top down. In other words, the diamond gets a check from his upline or the Internet Services Corporation for 49% of his CV. Out of this, he must pay his qualified emeralds and directs. If he's qualified diamond with 3 emerald and 3 direct legs, he keeps 16% of the CV bonus on each emerald leg and 37% on each direct leg. Contrast this with bonuses for Amway product purchases, which cap at 27% for directs and just a fraction of the percent for sapphires, emeralds, and diamonds, and you'll begin to see why the AMO leaders promote the tool so strongly. Oh, goodness. And Monhun says, attend more webinars, stay engaged. We're watching everyone's engagement, and those truly in it will be rewarded soon. Yep. So it's not about selling vacuums. Nope, it's not. It's not. That's absolutely, awful. There are 2 more chapters that I do want to read, but I am about spent for the night. So I'll have to read those at another time, because I still think it's important to, go and look at this stuff. And I hope this has opened up some of your eyes to how insidious this is. And even though what we're dealing with, like even with the Dream Team, Darren and Mike, it's not at this level per se, but they're still getting people to come in under the pretense that a $149 course is going to teach them everything they need to know. And it's not, because that $149 course is all about them selling to people a $10,000 water filtration device so that they can then sell that to other people. And they can sell those other people the $149 course and then the water filtration. But it doesn't stop there, because then they'll be able to get them to join, send out cards. And it doesn't stop there, because then, they can join the Positive Shift Academy and be affiliates with that and earn from that. So, it's just like, it's a whole bunch of things that are all like cobbled together. And who's making the most out of all of that? It's Darren and Mike. Darren and Mike are. And there's a whole lot of those other Me Too type organizations out there. Breakaway Movement, the ACE Initiative, Global Affiliate Zone, which I've done videos on all of those too. Oh, their new air purifiers. I have not looked at that. It's not just water anymore. Yep, and they also have this tea, and they want you to buy the trifecta. That's what they really want you to get, is the trifecta, and the trifecta is the one that costs $10,000. They want you to get all of that so that you can sell all of that to other people, because you need everybody getting that. That way, people can keep on buying those teas from you and all that jazz, so that they have that monthly, that residual. Keep on getting that residual. Hey, Lamar, how are you, my love? And I just finished reading 2 chapters from Amway Motivational Organizations Behind the Smoke and Mirrors. Yep, that's right. The Amways and the uplines. And it's the uplines that were already chosen to be there. The ones that were prime picked and chosen and placed there, that are made to, they do the dog and pony show of like, I made it here on my own, and they never did. It was all pre-planned. All of it is a big old bucket of hooey. And people think, oh, if they can do it, that was me. I can do that too. No, I can't. You can't do that on your own. You have to be one of those chosen to do it. And, think about the ones that you are aware of, and about the top people within that. The names don't change. And there's going to be some middle people. Those middle people, those names will change, because they work the hardest. Those middle people, they are just busting a nut. But those at the tippy top, not so much, because they're making bank off of those below them. That's how it all works. And, some of them are being paid directly from those who created whatever it is. Monthly. Get a fat little check. There you go. But everything's worked out in advance. And, Robert goes over that in his book, Ponzinomics. And when I interviewed, in one of my interviews with Robert, we talk about the backroom deals. Because, these things, they don't like for people to know about the backroom deals. And that's why I like to talk about them. Because the backroom deals happen all the time. It's not by chance. They're all designed to make you think they got there on their own. They want people to think that. It's just not the case. It's good to make 1% from 100 people than 100% from one person. It's even better to make 1% from 1 million people. Yep. Steamship, as far as I know, no, it's not. Migrating takes an awful long time. Just takes an awful long time. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to discuss any of that right now. But I will be talking some more about Darren and Mike. And if you guys haven't seen my videos on the brobots, the Canadian brobots, Darren and Mike, the Dream Team, you might want to go check those out, because I did expose their entire course. And it's actually because of me. That's why all of their webinars that they used to do live on YouTube, they took them all down, because I exposed everything. And that was in 1999. And that was in 2019. They got very upset. And they love to get stuff removed from, like, anything negative that comes out about them. They like to get that removed from the internet. So, if I can bring them up again, I will, you know? Right? You can see your first post to me. I still do have a lot of stuff on what I've been covering over the past several years. I have a lot of those still hidden after the last takedown attempt, just because I haven't put them back up. But maybe one day I will. Now, 2019 feels like decades ago. It does feel like decades ago in the scam world. It absolutely does. Absolutely. But, I've got more stuff on Darren and Mike. And so, and I want you guys to become familiar with them. And, you guys will probably be able to find some of their little groups and stuff. And that would be just, they hid everything from me. They made sure to hide it all from me because they think, like, I can't possibly find out anything if I don't have access. Oh, contraire. Silly boys. They think that I can never find out anything. I just love that for them. And here I am talking about them again. And I'll be talking about them more because, it's just fodder for me at this point to work some more of that in. And I hope you guys will join me with it because it's just interesting. And there's a lot of depths because they got their own they got their own Martys and Chris's and stuff. And it's always fun to get to know who those people are. Now, myself, I am always interested in the backstories of these people. Who are they? Where'd they come from? Where do they know them from? Who are they associated with? I find that to be so very fascinating. And I know that's not everybody's yum, It's my yum because I think it's very important how things connect because it gives you more insight. And again, I swear, I feel like I need to have, like those, like when they're trying to solve like a crime and there's those, string things on bulletin boards with the string going every which way. That's what I feel like I need, of like connecting of people. They better have their own man in a big brown chair. Well, they have a lot of people from Southeast Asia. And there are some people in the US that have gotten more people from Southeast Asia involved. And I am asking to find out if they have people, they have South Africa involved. And I am trying to find out if they have hit up India as well, because I'd be surprised if they haven't. But very similar to Onpassive in terms of how there have been key players that have gotten key communities, involved in that jank. It's the same thing of where they've gotten key communities. And there's key people that are, sucking those people in, which is all just so gross. Oh, and there's a Live Good connection too. And so I like that because we know people from Onpassive have gone to Live Good. So it's like, it's always fun when there's other, things cross. I find that very interesting because, Live Good was all the rage for a while. And then, it became not so much, but I still like it. Anyway, I'm going to get down on the go-go. I do want to say thank you to everybody who participated in the stream. Now, I do know that I did take down my channel membership and my Patreon pretty, I didn't give you guys any warning about anything. And it was just really because I had just so much going on. And personally, I just couldn't deal with anything. And I may bring those back up. So thank you for anyone who has ever been a member of any of that stuff. Thank you very much for your support. And thank you very much for being a subscriber. Thank you very much for anybody watching the replay. A whoop, whoop to you. And if you're a catch up, whoop, whoop to you as well. I appreciate all of you. Anyone who watches anything that I do, I appreciate you so very much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And don't forget, you're beautiful and I love you. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.